I went to Jerusalem. And do you know, I was not there even but a few hours, and I found out that Agabus was right. These people started to come and they wanted to beat me up. They started to accuse me of saying that when you, a Jew, are living with the Gentiles, you are not subject to the law. I never said that. I said that those who come to Jesus who are not Jewish are not subject to the law. They're subject to the new covenant in Jesus. But these peoples were lying about me. So James, I have to tell you this. So many times in my life, it was James who was there to rescue me. James said, why don't you go and offer to do a ritual of purification? Now, I know that many people have said that James and I, we did not get along, or we disputed, we contradicted each other. Have you heard this? I say that you are saved by faith only, and he says you are justified by works. Have you heard this? So for many years, people have been saying, oh, well, Paul and James, they say different things. It's contradictory. Let me tell you, those people are wrong. What we said was the same thing almost. James and I on this subject were two sides of the same coin. I said you are justified, you are saved by faith alone, and he says you are justified by works, meaning how you live your life determines whether you truly have faith and you truly are saved, you truly have salvation. And when you live your life and how you live your life, your faith grows, does it not? Yes. And let me tell you, both of us used Abraham to make our points. I said to say you are saved by faith. I said when Abraham was there and God was speaking to him and God was so pleased with the faith of Abraham, remember this? He said your descendants will be greater than the stars in the heavens. Do you remember this? Yes? Well, James, to make his point, talked of Abraham. And he said when Abraham was told to sacrifice his son, do you remember that? And as he's about to sacrifice his son, what happens? God says no. God says no. I can see by what you have done, your faith is strong. Yes? You're justified by faith. Abraham was with his son almost to execute him there 25 years after he came to faith. So that we both use the story of Abraham and the covenant that God had with Abraham to make our points. And we both are right. Two sides of the same coin. Does this make sense to you? You are saved by faith alone, but you are justified by your works. You grow in your faith. You know that your faith is real by how you live your life. Does that make sense to you? All right. No more question about James and I in conflict, yes? All right. So, no, let me tell you, this is important to me because so many people find it very difficult to follow Jesus, so they find things to argue about. They find things to debate about. Stop debating. Follow Jesus. Jesus says we're to love God and love each other. Do you remember this? I wrote it to the church in Rome. Love God and love each other. Do you remember? Ezekiel, in what you call the Old Testament, says you're to love God and love each other. But why is it that that's so difficult that we find all these ways to argue with each other? Stop it. Let's learn to love God and love each other, yes?